Kaska is a Northern Athabaskan language spoken by the Kaska people in the southeastern Yukon Territory in northern British Columbia in Canada. Phonetics. Consonants, vowels. Kaska makes use of the vowels a, e, I, o, and u, which through various combinations of inflection, lengthening and nasalization, produce about 60 vowel sounds in total. Morphology. Kaska is a polysynthetic language, commonly featuring sentence words. It is head-final, availing 9 prefix positions to a given stem verb morpheme. Kaska does not mark for control a grammatical gender, the latter of which is often implied in narratives through contextual association with the prevalent gender roles of Kaska society, particularly with regard to warfare. The verb sentence. Verb sentences, or single-word sentences consisting of a stem verb modified by inflectional, derivational and/or other types of affixes, commonly appear in Kaska. In these cases, a word-final verb morpheme may be accompanied by up to 9 prefixes grouped into 3 categories: the disjunct, the conjunct and the verb theme. O'Donnell's Kaska verb structure diagram is shown below. Verb theme. The verb theme carries the stem verb morpheme, which is immediately preceded by one of 4 classifiers. The O classifier primarily marks intransitive and stative verbs. The classifier H, referred to as L classification in Athabaskan literature, marks transitivity and/or causativity and deletes when preceded by the first-person singular subject marking S, though it is found in some intransitive clauses as in southeastern. These generally bear the O classifier. Etc acute ensigan, the meat is dried. Etc acute ensetagan s, he dried the meat. The D classifier serves a more complex function, accompanying self-benefactives, reflexives, reciprocals, iteratives and passives. The L classifier combines the functions of the D and H classifiers. Conjunct. The conjunct, which appears between the disjunct prefix group and the verb theme, carries inflectional information including subject, direct object and mood aspect markings. In subject markings, Kaska syntactically differentiates between subject I and subject II morphemes. Subject I markers occur conjunct finally, while subject II markers occur conjunct initially. The direct object in markings are given in the table at right. The marking for third-person singular direct object depends on the subject of the sentence. If the subject is in first or second person, then it is O, but becomes ye when the subject is in third person. Disjunct. The disjunct typically carries adverbial and derivational prefixes, including the negative marker do and the distributive plural morpheme and e acute, which pluralizes otherwise dual subjects and, in some cases, singular objects. The presence of this feature bears most of the numerical marking that is not already indicated contextually through the subject and object affixes themselves. The prefix la marks for dual subject in at least one verb phrase. To sit. Postpositional morphemes, such as ts and ye, also appear in the disjunct, along with the oblique object markings listed in the table below. Space, time and aspect. In Kaska, time is expressed primarily through aspect marking, called modes when described in Athabaskan languages. These prefixes convey imperfective, perfective and optative aspect. Overt expressions for quantified units of time exist, such as tade dzones, but rarely appear in Kaska dialogue. The imperfective expresses incomplete action, is used in instrumental marking, descriptions of static situations and to express a realized mood. In Kaska narratives, imperfective verb forms commonly accompany a humorous tone. The perfective mode functions largely in complement to the imperfective, expressing complete action, is used in descriptions of kinetic events and establishing realized mood. Kaska narratives tend to express a more serious tone through perfective verb forms. The optative mode expresses unrealized or desired activity. Directional prefixes, stems and suffixes also index spatial relations in Kaska narratives. These include allatives, ablatives, aerials and punctuals, with some examples listed below. Ku, distant location. Da, distant location. Distant location. Juh, jar, nearby location. Denge, up ahead. Nrne, acute, across. Ane, acute, to the side. Syntax: when a sentence contains two independent nominals, it takes on subject-object verb structure. Eski iudeniganatan. Eski iudenigaonitan. Boy girl at 3sg. Subj. Mood. Aspect classifier look. The boy saw, looked at the girl. When only one independent nominal is present, the subject and object are differentiated by the prefixes in the verb, shown using the same sample sentence. Eski ganatan, eski meganatan. Boy 3sg. Obj. The boy saw, looked at her. Subordinate clauses are marked with an I or I suffix and appear before the independent clause, as in the following example: while he was eating he was watching us. Etsedzi guganatan. Etsedzi guganatan. 3sg. Eat 3.sg was watching us. The available literature on Kaska makes no mention of applicatives, relatives or complements, and case marking appears restricted to nominative, accusative and the various forms of locative case marking conveyed through directional morphemes. Endangerment. With around 300 speakers as of 2011, the Ethnologue lists Kaska as status 7, despite also listing 4 communities where the language is taught in schools.